Hello, everybody. Welcome to our weekly AMA.
And I think he's gone. Okay, I'm sorry for that. We'll try and get maybe one of you guys to contact Owen, tell him he's gone. But in the meanwhile, I think I can take over. I think we have pretty interesting news to share.
Hello. Sorry about that.
Yes. I just took over. I'm going to introduce the main news, which is, of course, the mainnet upgrade. We've been talking about this for now months. Maybe a month or so ago, we released more or less the final intuition of what Cherry Network as a layer 0 would look like on testnet. A few weeks ago, we introduced all you guys to it. We created this bounty. Many participated, and we've since distributed rewards. Thank you all for joining. There have been some things that we noticed thanks to your help. So that's been very useful. And I think now finally brings us to this pivotal moment. Certainly the culmination of over 6 months of work. Many participated, but even more than that, an achievement in how regular, consistent work, regardless of market fluctuations or attempting to respond to external aspects that we don't quite control. So ultimately it's futile to try and respond to them in a tactical way. There certainly are many projects that try to do this, that adjust in return to the market and maybe go perhaps a bit overboard when things go well and contract perhaps excessively. We've seen many shutting down during this downturn. I find myself that slow and steady generally wins the race. So to that, I'd like to bring on, as sometimes before, many of you are familiar with them, Bobby and Fotis. There are two core developers of Cherry. I don't know if you guys have anything prepared to tell us about this upcoming upgrade, whether it's already occurred or not. I'm going to leave it at that, and maybe describe what exactly it entails and what it means for Cherry and its future.
Hello. Is my sound okay?
Yes.
So yeah, greetings everyone. We didn't prepare anything for this meeting, so for this MAA, but what I have to say is that there has been a lot of work going on, and it was sure something especially hard to do. So regarding the upgrade, I want to make sure everyone has backed up their accounts, and I want to say to everyone that nobody will lose any balance, nobody will lose anything. They're just gonna restore their account, and the money will be there. The chair tokens will be there. So don't be afraid about anything. And I'll let Fotis say a little bit about what we introduce on this upgrade. I think that's basically it.
Hello.
Yes.
So you can hear me, right?
Yes,
we can.
Good. Okay. So the main thing that we are introducing with this upgrade is the ability of Cherry Network to have parachains, pretty much the layer 0 upgrade, as we call it. We haven't done any more upgrades to our governance or treasury. We did the bounty hunt, everything was working quite well. All the issues we found, we fixed them, and thank you for that again. And we also did some upgrades to the substrate. We upgraded to the latest version as well. I don't think I have anything else to say. I think it's that.
Actually, Fotis, about that, we found out that it's better to stay one version behind Polkadot latest, because that way we can keep back in case Polkadot has any bugs on their latest.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we are one version behind indeed. Yeah, sorry.
Keep in mind, everyone, that we're gonna go ahead and always be one version behind the latest Polkadot release, so we don't have any new bugs that are not on our hand to fix. So yeah, that's that.
So to summarize, what either has happened or will happen in the next few hours, within the 72 hours as announced on Monday, in respect to the upgrade, indeed this upgrade will occur. The upgrade will entail an update of our code base up to the version prior to Polkadot's latest. That means Cherry and its substrate implementation will be compatible with Polkadot, any tooling and any applications deployed on it. At a later stage, as our roadmap, but of course, perhaps months away, we do have in sights a parachain slot for the Cherry network as a parachain to Polkadot, and vice versa, some sort of interoperability channel from Polkadot, or at least Cherry Polkadot's parachain onto the Cherry mainnet. In addition to that, which is very technical and something that people don't exactly need to be aware about perfectly, this upgrade also introduces the ability to deploy parachains on Cherry Network proper. Cherry Network has either now or will have been by the end of today become a layer 0. We'll more eloquently describe what a layer 0 exactly means. There have been discussions over the past few months about that, but I think it's due that we do some effort in conveying the base elements of what the advantage of being a layer 0 is. By my understanding, and I think by the general consensus of our core team, layer 0 is the most advanced scalability mechanism available. You have layer 2s, you have side chains, you have different data structures like DAGs, you have ways of changing and processing data external to on-chain computation, such as ZK snarks, such as sharding, etc. We feel that parachains, layer 0 architecture is certainly different, and sufficiently so that that requires our own study as external and additive to, let's say, Polkadot and all these other efforts, but frankly superior. And so while the layer 0 accomplishment is quite significant at that, as an extension of it, and this has been something, again, most of you are aware, so it's nothing that I'm sharing or hinting at prematurely. Within a few months, we will have a suite or a set of active parachain applications deployed on the Cherry network. And these will include an exchange that we've already been sort of looking into building completely. We'll have some information about that. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Other things, Cherish will have its own parachain. More generally, applications or developers willing to deploy their decentralized applications on top of Cherry will now have the option of doing it by ink or native on Cherry network proper as parachains. And of course, something that I'm now building up to, EVM compatibility. Now, EVM compatibility for sure means that, well, before you have been able to communicate and send information from Ethereum, Binance Chain, etc., to Cherry Network, and vice versa to some limited extent in the context, let's say, of bridge, so transferring tokens from one chain to another. But nothing much beyond that, because the interoperability tends to include some trust aspects, which are security issues, if not false themselves. EVM compatibility, however, brings the concept of interoperability that I hope you are familiar with to the nth degree. Compatibility means that anything that you do on Ethereum can also be done on Cherry Network, and communication between the two systems is essentially flawless, since the two networks don't share the same state, of course, but share the same exact mechanisms of data interpretation and computation, etc. In that pursuit of EVM compatibility, we'll be deploying our own EVM parachain. I don't know if any of you, maybe Fotis, you want to say something about that? Interrupt me if so, but the timeline for that is maybe 4 to 6 weeks. So overall, largely within the plan outlined months ago, and I'm quite confident in not just us meeting the schedule, but it working as advertised. Many try to oversell what their technical capabilities are. I think we've done a pretty good job at explaining things for what they are, executing, and then accomplishing exactly the objectives as it was proposed, and not let's say go beyond necessarily. We do pretty interesting work, but within the bounds of what our capabilities are, and not to overlap what other things other people are doing, or copying excessively other people, but certainly not overselling. I think another reason to recognize the Cherry team here is their ability to meet or exceed general technical standards. So I don't know, Fotis, if you have any further insights about our next steps specifically in regards to EVM compatibility, please share them now. Otherwise, I guess that's it for this update, and we'll give it back to Owen.
Well, the only thing I have to say about the EVM is that the groundwork and the layout is already there pretty much. We started working with the EVM before layer 0, but we took a break to focus on the layer 0 upgrade. The time table that you said I think it's good for 6 weeks. And I think we will see it in the testnet first, of course, to see how all the XCM messages and transfers work. And of course, test the EVM transfers.
That's fantastic. And it's quite encouraging, I think, for everyone in the community to see that it's been worked on so diligently. It's worth mentioning as well, the pace of development from our technical team has been quite impressive. And a lot of other projects have kind of been in the doldrums of development difficulties for a long time. So it's great to see that we have very goal-oriented developers that have brought us so far in just over a year, actually. So that's very encouraging. I had a couple of questions that perhaps the developers or maybe Herman could handle, but they might actually be better off waiting for the blog post that Herman mentioned that will explain in more detail the ramifications of what layer 0 functionality actually means. But I had a couple of people basically asking the same questions in terms of what would this actually mean for, let's say, a dApp developer or another project that would be maybe a smaller project that would be trying to integrate or use the cherry stack, so to speak. So maybe while, not too much of a technical perspective, but just in terms of business and the business cases for using the cherry stack, Herman, or could someone else maybe handle that one? What would be the most significant difference in terms of what people can now do with the cherry chain, I suppose, is the question that I've seen.
Bobby, do you want to take it?
Sorry, I had some technical issues. Can you repeat?
Sure, yeah. Just in terms of what the difference is in kind of business capabilities or business possibilities when building with a layer 0 infrastructure like Cherry versus layer 1. What is the main functionality that's afforded to the user or the dApp developer that isn't available with layer 1 chains? So what's the biggest killer application of being a layer 1 chain, I suppose, is the question.
So yeah, well, my best guess, and I'm saying guess because there is vast activities that you can do with layer 0 or layer 1 chains, is that layer 0 has shared economy and shared state among other dApps. So that means that you can have multiple collaborations. That means either with Cherry or with another dApp that is on our connected to our relay node as a parachain. And to be honest, I think that's the best one. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah, it's quite impressive and significant, I suppose, because it does show people that want to build on the Cherry chain that they have the possibilities for, an awful lot of interoperability and an interconnected business case for what they want to do as well. So yeah, that's quite exciting. As our community knows, we are quite ambitious in the project, and we want to create an ecosystem and an infrastructure where people can build whatever they want to build and really cater to the needs of ambitious Web3 business cases. So I think the layer 0 implementation is a really important step in the right direction for that. So that's fantastic. Thanks, Herman. Thanks, Bobby and Fotis, for joining us. It's always great to be able to talk to the devs because, as we've said before, Cherry is a tech-driven project, and without those guys pushing things forward, then there wouldn't be much to talk about in our AMAs every week. So that's fantastic. Thanks very much, guys. And I know the community really appreciates when you're able to share your insights and experiences with us. So well done, guys. We'll move on a little bit with the other aspects of the AMA. So I think I'm just going to check my notes again there with regards to what we want to discuss. From my end, the most significant things that we should be doing this week is kind of supporting the rollout and announcements of the layer 0 upgrade. So that's going well. Otherwise, we have, as I mentioned last week, imminent launches, full launches of ecosystem projects, including, well, I won't give too much away, but you can expect this in the next few hours. It was kind of somewhat postponed due to the layer 0 announcement because we don't want to have too much stuff going on at one time. But yeah, these things are ready to drop. So keep an eye on our socials, and we can show you more about that in the next day or two. We also have, as we mentioned before, a big update that a couple of our guys have been working on quite hard to the Cherry Labs Blockchain University initiative. So that's going to be quite exciting as well. And then throughout the week, we have some other things that we want to show you guys. There's a partnership that is pretty much finalized with another blockchain project. And that's quite promising as well. So we'll be able to announce that too, I hope, between now and the next AMA. I know that things are going pretty quickly with Cherish and Seedling as well. And I know that the guys have some updates to discuss with us. So I think does either Diego at Seedling or Marv at Cherish want to jump in there and say hello?
Hello, guys.
Hi,
Sure,
Diego.
I'll take over. Special thank you to especially Herman and the lead developers that have been working very, very hard and gave what we believe is a very insightful update today. It is great to see how Cherry is developing at such a quick speed. And I'm sure we are positioning ourselves and the whole ecosystem in a great spot to capitalize and benefit on the bull run. The update to Layer 0 is great and will be a catalyst for the whole ecosystem development. So today I wanted to keep everything short and snappy. First thing to mention is how does this affect Seedling? And as you all know or should know, Seedling is the fundraising platform, launchpad, with one of the main objectives being supporting the Cherry Chain projects. Having the Layer 0 implemented directly affects the situation at Seedling, allowing and opening the range of development options in Cherry Labs and therefore new opportunities of contribution through Seedling platform. Having this in mind, guys, remember Seedling does not only support and engage with our close partners in the Cherry ecosystem and new developing projects, but also other chains, as it remains chain agnostic and therefore gives other opportunities to top tier projects in the space, like we have recently seen with projects such as Banger Games or Avem, projects being supported by the biggest companies and the VCs in the space. So moving on from this, I will now go through the main updates of this week. I will just go through them. So as you can see on the screen, we have been working closely with an audiovisual company to get some good content out, strengthening our company values and our differentiators. So we are making clear not only how we are solving key problems in the pre-sale market, but even engaging with a strong claim that no one will, I think, be able to match. Hopefully we can share this soon, as I am very happy and this is all for you guys. This includes also new documentation and content of different formats, including interviews and other more substantial methods of spreading the Seedling word. Also, we've been studying the market closely. We are seeing how loads of launchpads are dying or just left completely inactive, knowing it's not a good moment. We believe that, and know, there are still good opportunities out there, and I'm sure we will bring them to Seedling very soon. Lastly, I just wanted to let everyone know we are being very picky and precautious about the projects we select, especially on the diligence process. We have recently managed to bring some very good projects, which you guys have loved and want to keep this line of quality, especially for newcomers. After all, when they will be doing their due diligence, they want to see good projects listing on Seedling with top backing, unlike other launchpads which have maybe moved or pivoted to quick cash flow projects to keep alive. That is all, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Diego.
Diego.
Yeah, jump in there, Marv.
Sure thing. Hey guys, it's Marv from the project lead from Cherish. I also would like to thank Herman and the other core devs for their update. This is truly a special day for the history of Cherry as it opens up to all kinds of new developments and progress that can be made. So for Cherish, development continues at pace. The Cherry team has not been the only one working on big updates, although this is a very special update for us as well, as we can start integrating better with the Cherry chain. Then in terms of content, we have a creator interview. The part 1 has been released with Sofa Kaledi, an analog artist from, I think, somewhere Northeast Europe. She's a really talented creator, and I would definitely check out her interview so you can see her takes on art and the art world and how maybe new developments in technology could impact her business. Then Day in the Life A Medium article has been published. It talks about the day of the life of a cherished creator, how their day would look like, and what they can expect on the platform. And then we are liaising with strategic marketing partners to schedule and look at how we could launch Cherish in the near future, as this is coming up in the coming weeks. So very exciting stuff from all of the chain, as you can hear from Diego, and I'll leave it back to Owen.
Thank you, Marvin. So as always, we have our weekly quiz. I've got a couple of other things that I wanted to reference just before we jump into the quiz. First and foremost, there was all of the quiz winners from the previous week and week before have been given their prizes, so well done. On the subject of quizzes, we're going to have a bumper special Christmas party quiz. The cherry ecosystem Christmas party quiz will be happening at some point, I'd say in the next 10 days. We'll have more prizes. We'll tie this in with our merchandise drop, and we're going to have like an expanded quiz, like a number of questions and stuff like that. So that will be quite fun. Hoping to spread a bit of Christmas cheer among our community with that. Aside from that, given the things that I've spoken about in previous AMAs, we're going to also be reaching out to some of the people that have over the past few months applied for internships. It hasn't really been the best time for any project to be expanding their team, but we're quite confident that both in the wider market and in terms of Cherry's own progress, that we can start to cast an eye on increasing the number of people involved in the project very soon. So if you've applied, then you can expect a response from us one way or another in the next 2 weeks, I think. And doing that with a view to taking in another tranche of interns in the new year, in January at some point. There were a couple other things. Oh yeah, there was a few questions as well regarding a sale, a number of sales that happened early this morning, which I saw them coming in. There were people with questions asking if they were team sales. The team doesn't sell. We probably never will. I don't think that we ever have. And the reason for someone was trying to do some investigation as to where this sale came from, and got the erroneous impression that it was from a team wallet. It was actually that the wallet was the funds that were used in the sale had been unstaked and then sold. So it wasn't actually anything to do with the team themselves. We didn't know about it until it happened. Aside from that, we are going to be speaking in more detail about ecosystem and kind of the network that Cherry finds itself in next week. And what that will involve is an interview with one of the ecosystem projects next Wednesday. And we're also going to discuss and bring on some of our partners that are working with us in the consulting initiative. We've got some pretty smart people involved in that. I've spoken about it at some length in the last couple of weeks. And there's been a lot of questions coming in thick and fast from the community. So I know you guys would like to hear more about that. We think that this kind of future rhythm that we're going to pursue with the AMAs, wherein one Wednesday it'll be focused on core development and core updates like today, and then the next week will involve more kind of offbeat and ecosystem focused discussion. I think that's the best way forward, because as I've explained in previous AMAs, we're now changing our focus strategically from strictly the core itself being developed. And now that the core has been developed so well by the by the core devs, then we can look at how to really translate into strong business growth from the rest of the ecosystem and prospective ecosystem partners. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to John, who will mute the chat as usual, and we will from there do the quiz. Any questions you guys have that haven't been answered, throw them in the chat and we'll be able to address them at some point this evening. And then, I'll keep you guys posted with regards to the announcements and the other things to be rolled out in the next 24, 48 hours, as I discussed there earlier in my core update. So thank you very much for joining again, guys. Really great to talk to you, especially on such an auspicious day for the project. And we're really looking forward to seeing where we can go with this really strong technology that we have fully working, and it's all looking very high potential at the moment. So that's great. Okay, guys, see you later.
Oh, I did want to say one last thing, and then I'm going to let you guys do the quiz. I think you'll enjoy that. So I made some confusion earlier about whether the upgrade had already happened and would have happened later today. I'm going to clear that up now. The plan now, and Fotis, probably correct me if I'm wrong, is the chain will be stopped in its present form. A regenesis will occur within probably an hour, maybe 2 hours from its stopping. So there will be a period where trade-off place will not work, no new blocks will be produced, no transactions on chain, nor staking will occur. The regenesis, as I said, can take, let's give it a maximum of 2 hours, can be 30 minutes. Let's keep it in a range. And by the end of tonight, a new chain will be run. This means, as described in the introductory post on Twitter and Telegram a few days or weeks ago, I forget, a new chain will be formed from scratch. All data from your trade.place, etc., will be scrapped and removed. And an entire new instance will be created of the chain and all of the tools by which you interact with it. Therefore, those of you who have tokens on chain on the Trade Network mainnet, and therefore this does not apply to those who haven't bridged them yet, will have to re-import your private keys if you have them saved in local storage. Otherwise, if you use Polkadot.js or another web wallet or a hardware wallet, for example, you don't need to do any of that. You'll need to re-import them to Trade.place. Check that your balance is fine. Of course, there should be no problem there. And then restake or regain the state that you desire for your tokens. So, for example, if you want to stake to one validator versus another, you need to do that again, since any staked assets now will be returned, and liquid unstaked in the new network. That's it. So once again, make sure you have your backups handy, because you will need them, if not tonight, as soon as you want to get staking once again and using the Chain mainnet. That's it. Good luck with the quiz.